to our new knowledge series. We're wrapping up almost it for our 2016 and getting ready to start planning for June, but we're pleased to be talking about consumer regulations. We're all consumers every time we go out to purchase something, and we're extremely happy to have Amy Duncan with the Attorney General's office. And I'll let Amy talk more about what you have to offer, but welcome and thanks for being here.
Thank you. Hello, guys, and hello to everyone online. As she said, my name is Amy Duncan. I work with the Attorney General's office. My office is here in Abingdon. I'm a community outreach coordinator, so half of my job is Medicaid fraud and elder abuse, and the other half are all the other programs that the Attorney General has to offer, which are loads and loads. One of those being consumer protection. Most of the time when I go around and speak with people, I'm speaking to consumers on how to protect yourself from scams, identity theft, that kind of thing. But today, since I came here to the Small Business Incubator, I sort of did a little bit of a spin on it, and I'm going to talk to you about ways that you can protect your business, or if you're thinking about starting a business, protecting those from those kinds of lawsuits. Now, I will tell you, I'm not an attorney, so I can't answer a lot of questions about it, but I can guide you in the right direction if you do have questions. First of all, what does the Attorney General do? In this section for this consumer protection, he enforces state and federal consumer protection laws. He keeps Virginians safe from things like identity theft, like we were talking about, consumer fraud, telemarketing scams, which we're all getting right now. Those are all reported to our office. But one thing that we also do is enforce the antitrust laws, which are the competition laws when you have businesses. It helps with the healthy competition between businesses. The consumer protection section of our office serves as this central clearinghouse for the receipt, evaluation, we investigate, and we refer these issues to other agencies that can help. Complaints can be filed with our office. Sometimes we can handle them. Other times when we can't handle them, we know where to send them to. So we also field those things that are not within our jurisdiction. So what do you need to know? If you're a business owner, are any of you all small business owners, or hope to be, or thinking about being? Okay, if you are, you just need to make sure that you know about all of your state's consumer protection laws that apply to your business, because not all businesses are going to have the same laws that they need to comply with. And these are just going to help you and help the consumer from having these unfair, deceptive practices against you, and you unknowingly doing them yourself. Because a lot of times what you think is okay and right, under the law it's not. This will help you stay out of trouble and have some legal ramifications. And I just put these on here because these were some just good examples of things, not just in Virginia, but nationwide, that can happen. Like, for example, a man goes into a department store. We'll say they go into Target, and they are advertising in the paper a certain great price for a waffle iron. And so he goes in, and they say, sorry, we're out, but doesn't offer them a rain check. Well, that is a violation of the consumer protection law in most states. So you've got to watch, what you do, especially with that kind of thing. You've got to be able to offer them something in return if you're advertising a special price or a special promotion. Another one is like a homeowner sued a roofing contractor because they falsely advertised that they could finance it for them, and then they demanded money at the end. And that was another example of a case that was brought into court. Health spas are really targeted now because most of the time when you sign up for a health spa or a gym, they ask you to complete a contract. So when you're trying to get out of a contract in a health gym, it's a nightmare. So there are special regulations for that kind of thing. Or if you're doing personal training or anything like that that requires a contract. One thing that you can do is go to the Federal Trade Commission website. They have great resources for this kind of consumer protection. Our website does as well, and at the end I have our website address for you.
Amy, back on the second bullet, if you go into the store and it's the last day of the publicized ad that the sale's supposed to be on, are you still, if the sale runs from Sunday until Friday, they still have to honor that?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so. That's different. That is the loophole that you can get without that. If you have on there, but not always will they have while supplies last. So that is one way to get around that. So if you make yourself familiar with these things and know what you can do and what you can't do, that keeps you out of legal trouble. Most consumer protection laws, they just contain this broad prohibition on unfair or deceptive practices in general. So there are lots of statutes that list specific practices that you can go on the FTC website and our website and look them up, like the advertising or the price changing. There are many. There are many things. There's so many. When I was researching this, I could not include even just a small smidgen of all of the laws, but you can look them up specific for your business. One thing is deceptive advertising. Under federal and state law, and if an ad is unlawful or deceives or misleads someone, even if it doesn't actually fool anyone, if your ad's deceptive, you can face legal problems, whether you intended to mislead the customer or not. So it's the overall impression that's created by the ad, not just the real truthfulness of the individual parts. So if you are deceiving them or a person thinks that you're deceiving them, they can bring that to court. So basically, you can get sued for a lot of things no matter what you do. If someone takes what you're saying and construes it around, there's ramifications to everything.
And does your office, if I'm a small business owner and I'm getting ready to start an ad campaign, is there anyone there that we can?
Yes, we have a consumer hotline, and the number's at the end of my slideshow that you can call, and it's a 24-hour day hotline. You can call and ask them questions. If you are questioning anything that you're getting ready to do, it's always better to ask than to do it and then be like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. So there are many ways to find out. Because the reason I say that is consumers, they have the right to sue advertisers under state consumer protection laws. You have the right as a consumer. Your business consumers have the right to sue you. For example, if someone buys a product and they rely on this ad that you put in, they can sue you for a small claims court for a refund. Now, most of the time it's settled out of court, and you're like, I would rather just give you your money back than to go through a court, go through all of the hassle. But sometimes they can gather up with other people that had that same issue, and they can cause you lots of issues, lots of problems, a lot of money. Deceptive pricing. This, I feel like, happens a lot. Even if you're going into stores, Walmart, Target, Kmart. The two pricing practices that most likely get your business into trouble are making incorrect price comparisons. In an ad, or an employee can say, well, our local competitor charges $1.69 for this, and we are beating them with $1.50. So your own regular prices are offering something that's supposedly free, but in fact has a cost to it. Like if you're offering a free, with every purchase you get a free flashlight, but you've added a little bit to your price of the product to cover the flashlight price. That's deceptive pricing. Now, I've crammed a whole lot into this slide because there was a lot of information that I wanted to include in this. So just bear with me, and I'm going to read it to you. Offering a reduction from your usual selling price is a common sales technique. That's just the way it goes. But the reduced price is misleading unless the former price is the actual price at which you offered the article or offered the product. For example, if you announce a new product and you say, I have this new computer and it's $129, but you sell it to wholesalers as if they're going to pay a great price of $79 for it. And then you can discount it to the direct customers as well. So you've got wholesale customers paying $79 for it. You've got direct customers paying $79 for it, but $129 wasn't ever actually the real price. The real price was $79, but you're making the consumer feel like I'm getting a great deal because it used to be $129. Direct wholesalers are getting it for $79, and I'm getting the wholesale price. That is misleading.
That
And
sounds like Kohl's.
yeah, and you've broken the law there. It misleads customers into just thinking that they're receiving a discount when actually they aren't. You know, a lot of times when you go, let's just give Parksville for an example. They will say, buy one, get one free. Well, maybe a week later, they're selling the same shoes less than half off. So you're paying more than you would have 2 weeks ago for the buy one, get one half off or buy one, get one free. It's even more blatant to buy a huge batch of merchandise, especially if it's like secondhand or what's the word I'm looking for? Discontinued products. And you create the just fictional regular price. And then you adhere to it for a day or two, and then some merchants are tempted to, to do that when they're doing these secondhand prices and secondhand products and wholesale products that they have gotten at this deep discount, and they want to pretend like customers are getting a huge bargain for it when actually they didn't hardly pay anything for it. When you place an ad and your ad compares your price of some merchandise and you're charging the same for the two merchants are charging the same for the same product. You've just got to make sure that the products are identical. You can't say that you're selling an item cheaper from your department store than another department store, because if they're not the same product, you cannot do that. You can't compare it. They can be comparable. iPhone and a Samsung Galaxy is comparable, but they're not the same exact product. The other merchants had enough sales at a higher price in your area so that you're offering a legitimate bargain. That is a way that you can tell. Has this other merchant had enough sales with that higher price in your area? You need to really compare and do your homework before you place ads, or most of the time placing ads, or going into a huge campaign to try to sell things. In other words, you should just make sure that the higher comparison price isn't an isolated or unrepresentative price. Always check it. Make sure that you're not overpricing something, and you're comparable to another store. This is less than free offers, and this is sort of like what I was talking about, buy one, get one free. This is regarding offers of free products that you can offer gifts only if there are no strings attached. You can give away things at your stores or give away things with your businesses, but there can't be any strings attached to it. For example, if you offer a free paintbrush to anyone that buys a can of paint for $14.95, and the brush really isn't free, especially if you usually charge less than $14.95 for that can of paint anyway. You're just adding in the cost of the paintbrush. Or you usually maybe provide a free delivery. If you buy a can of paint, we'll bring it to your house with a paint purchase. But when the customer gets a free brush, you don't do that. Same practice. So free offers need to actually really be free. And that's hard. Consumer protection laws, they place a potent weapon in the hands of buyers. We all know that because, we're consumers and we're glad to have that protection. In an ordinary lawsuit, a plaintiff can recover only your loss, but many consumer protection laws allows consumers to ask for additional penalties. For example, if they drastically increase the damage award, sometimes triple, just for damages, or travel expenses. I had to go back and forth to the store. It took, time out of my day. I had to leave work early. So the laws can require the defendant to pay the consumer's attorney fees even. So it started out being maybe $14.95 paint and paintbrush can end up being loads and loads more money. The potential for large verdicts gives buyers and their lawyers an incentive to sue if it looks like the law's been violated. And if you know an attorney, they're always looking for ways to sue. So especially consumer protection. So while the bulk of the Consumer Protection Act is just common sense and good business practice, complying to the act does require a little bit of work on your part if you own a small business, because you should ensure that you have this strong risk management in place in your business. You can start by double checking your interaction, your correspondence between your business, clients, your staff, including your emails and your calls, different websites, and how walk-in customers are actually treated by your staff. If you have good staff, then you're going to have a good business. If you have staff that when people come in, they're not treated nicely, that's the first thing they're going to do is try to pick out something that you have done to them that they can report on you. So how can you avoid these problems? Well, the best thing to do is to make yourself aware of all of the details of the Virginia Consumer Protection Laws. And that's one of the first things that you should do when opening a business is to make sure that you're following every single thing to the T. States can allow a customer to sue if the violation wasn't even intended. If you didn't even mean it the way that it came out to be, it can still get you in trouble. So always check. You should always check with our website, with the Federal Trade Commission, Better Business Bureau. These all will help you. We're not always out there to get you. We're out there to help you as well.
Amy, how does that work? Let's say that I am a vendor at the farmer's market. Is the farmer's market, like in Abington, if there was a consumer complaint, do they come after me or do they come after the management of the
really sure about if you have to have a vendor license for that. Does anyone know if you have to have a vendor license for a farmer's market type booth?
University
You do?
yeah, on our website there's a spot where you fill out, we have to have vendor's licenses.
Okay, then it would be you.
Okay.
Our website, and it's also on my card that I gave you. It's just oag.state.va.us. There's so much information on there. Like I said, I couldn't even condense enough just to cover today. Because first of all, consumer protection laws are so far over the heads of most people, including myself, that for me to stand up here and explain to you the laws, I could stand here all day and tell you, you know, this law means this law means this, but until you go directly to the laws that you need, like what kind of business do you own?
Mine's an online business, so my questions later are gonna be like selling advertising, and there's a bunch of weird stuff online with internet business.
Yes, yes. So, you know, go online, go call our hotline consumer protection number. They are there to help you. If you have questions, they can answer any question that you have. That's what they're there for.
And you're with probably Davidson, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And, well, you're the printing company, right?
Printing, okay. Okay, cool.
She let me in. She
Oh,
just had to
no,
let
and
me in.
I didn't get, you're with the town, right?
I'm with the town. I work at Fairview for their nursery properties. I work in museum.
Okay.
Still very interested in this, especially as we look into adding things like farmers market type goods.
Right. Right.
And I work in the higher ed center.
Okay. But our business hours are 8:30 to 5 every day, Monday to Friday. And I promise you that if you call them, if they can't answer the exact question that you have, they will lead you in the right direction. Because that's what they're there for. They are trying to make it easier for Virginians. And I'm sure that if you call this small business incubator, they can help you as well with a lot of legal questions. We have attorneys that are there for that purpose too. Okay, I thank you. Does anybody have any?
Well, maybe I can, maybe
No,
we'll,
I think it would benefit all of us.
Sure.
my business will sell advertising and space on the site based on how many users and subscribers we have per cost per click. But there's so many businesses out there that can make up users.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all just randomly generated, so the whole industry is basing their pricing on stuff that's you can make up. So,
Right.
I mean,
Internet business is completely, you know, is completely foreign to me. It's not, I know that there's the same laws and practices, but different. They're different because you don't know who you're dealing with face to face. You know, it could be a person made up
and it's tough to compare yourself to another business because you know they're probably doing some of these kind of nasty practices like
Mhm.
scraping, where if you go to their website or your son goes to their website, they'll pull your IP address, pull your email and say that this is now a registered user, and you're not, you just scrape, which,
Well, and it also depends on different areas of the country. What you may be charging for something here is a lot cheaper than what you could get it in California. So online is a lot different than being in a business here in Abingdon, let's say. You know, where you're Food City's competing against Food Country. Walmart's competing against Target, you know, that kind of antitrust
But for
laws.
online, is there a federal, like, hotline that you would call if you'd like to do, federal, by a online business that could be in?
Yes,
that could be handy, yeah.
right.
There's so
Our
many-
office deals with a lot of that as well. A lot of scams. Scams are so rampant right now on the internet and phone scams. identity theft, there's tons. And the computer is so lucrative because there could be someone in India using and spoofing your Abingdon, Virginia address and phone number, where it looks like they live in Abingdon.
I get a lot of those on my cell phone, and
Mhm.
it looks like an Abingdon cell phone number, and they're like, lower your credit card interest rate. Yeah, and I just.
Have you ever had your own phone number show up?
Not have I.
They will do that sometimes. It'll be a computer generated numbers, and my parents were sitting in their den and across their screen came their phone number. And it freaked them out because they were like, somebody calling me from my house. You know, but they didn't realize that it's called spoofing and they can just generate any number. But they want it to look like they're from your area, and because that way you'll answer the phone.
I got an email from myself one time telling me I had some great watches, so if y'all need anything,
I
check
get
those
those in my
emails.
spam folder all the time on Gmail.
A lot of times with the IRS scams, they'll call, and that's the big one right now. They'll call and they'll say, we're calling from the IRS. You owe $10,000 in back taxes. If you do not pay right now over the phone, we're coming and we're going to arrest you. And there are many, many people that will scramble and use their whole life savings and pay these people over the phone because of the fear of being taken to jail. Especially elder people, they prey on elder people because they're the ones that has the nest egg, or and they're more trusting. They want to believe that people are out to do them.
Well, now there's that scam where they call you and they tell you that your Microsoft has got a virus, and this just happened yesterday to a new startup in Tazewell, and she said that she had thousands and thousands of files, and one of them was her business plan that she was working with. That she had, a 50-page business plan, and they basically held her hostage, and they would, out of good faith, they would encrypt or decrypt one file for her, and any of the others she would have to pay.
Yes.
This money, but the one file she wanted was a business plan, but she'd spent, all the hours developing it. But that
Most of
is
the time
going rampant.
those are overseas, and it's hard to trace who it is. And then once you do, you can't really prosecute them. Very rarely is someone prosecuted for a scam, especially ones that happen overseas. And the phone scams are, as you said, they're running rampant, and especially the computer one right now, where they're calling and saying, I'm from Microsoft, and there's a bug on your computer. We can clear it for you, but I need to remote into your computer. So people give them their their information so they can remote in on their computer. Once they're on their computer, they just lock it down. You can't do anything. But they have all access to everything of yours. And like you said, they'll hold your documents and things for ransom. And so if you pay them, they'll release a little bit to still have it,
As a consumer, do I have any rights to stop a business that I may have done something, like purchased something for selling my contact information, so forth? And I bring this up because my mother, who's 85, gets an enormous amount of these crazy calls, and she's not buying online. So how are they getting her contact information? Is it from, doctor's offices?
Doctor's offices, banks, anywhere can sell
It
your
has to be
information.
gossip related, because
Mhm.
that's the only thing that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. That there's nothing really you can do about it.
Churches sometimes will sell your information, so
Mhm.
also stuff about that. They don't want to pay people stuff.
And you can always go on the do not call registry, but when you do that, it's once a year. You have to do it every year. And it doesn't really work because if you are a scammer, you're not going to say, oh, let me check and see if they're on the no-call list. Because if they're on the no-call list, I better not call them.
Well,
They're
you're gonna
calling
pay for the
anyway.
no-call list either. You
Exactly.
So they're not gonna pay.
That's
to get
right.
photos.
So that it, you know, it basically does.
Businesses getting dozens of calls each week, there's no one there, we answer the phone.
That's usually one of those polling, they just dial a bunch of numbers at once, and the first person that answers, it's one of these scam calls. The first person that answers, then that's who you talk to. If you call back, they give you the numbers on the system.
Right. And if they ever call and say, you know, press one, never press one, because a lot of times you'll be charged for that call. If they're in India, you're gonna be charged for that long distance call because you pushed one. So never, if you don't know the number and it's a 1-800 number or a I think it's 901 number, just don't even answer it. If it is important enough, they will leave you a message or they will call you back. And if you pick up the phone and they start talking to you, and you can tell right then that there's, you know, that you don't know this person and it has nothing related with you, hang up. I'll give you a little story. Facebook is getting really bad as well with people hacking other people's Facebook profiles, and my dad is not doing well, so he has been in and out of the hospital. My uncle has a Facebook page, and I hadn't heard from him, you know, on Facebook ever, I don't think. And then all of a sudden one day, I get a message from him, and it said, "Hey, how are things going?" And I said, "Well, they're not going real well right now," because I just talked to him on the phone not too long ago, so I knew, you know, he knew we were at the hospital. He said, "I'm sorry, what's going on?" And I said, "Well, Dad's back in the hospital." And he said, "Oh, prayers going your way." And I said, "Well, thank you." And then he turned around and said, "Did I tell you about the $13,000 that I had delivered to my house just by calling?" And gave this number. And I said, "No, but thank you. I work for the government and I can report this as a scam." And I tried to pull up that profile again, couldn't pull it up or anything, so I bet he was like, oh, let's get off of here. So always be smart and always, you know, just trust your instinct. If you don't feel that it's right, don't do it. If you have questions, always check. If you have someone call you and say there's someone, like a bank or the IRS will never call you that way. Call them back. Say, let me give you a call back. And they may give you a phone number, but don't even try to call that phone number back, because a lot of times it'll just redirect you to the same person who will answer it and say they're the person. But always call your bank and say, am I having a an overdrawn problem? Have I overdrawn my account? Is there anything that I need to know about it? See if they called you, because the majority of the time it's going to be no. Most of the time, everything you get that's legitimate is in writing. You know, they rarely are going to call you over the phone. Anybody else have anything? And anytime you want to call my office with any kind of identity theft, like I said, the legal part of the consumer protection is not my forte. I'm not an attorney, so I can't answer a lot of those questions, but I can help you as a consumer and lead you in the right direction on what to do if you feel that you've been scammed or you've had problems with your identity, being compromised. I can lead you through all of that. And I left you my card, and you're welcome to call me anytime.
I just want to make sure, when earlier we were talking about advertising and creating an ad, if I'm a small business owner, because I work with small businesses all the time, can they send that to someone in Richmond, to your office, and say, can you review this to make sure that I am not overstepping my bounds, or am I putting myself in jeopardy?
You can do that. They may send it to a different agency to review it. It really depends on what the topic is. And most of the time, they get thousands of calls every day from consumers. So So they try to get to every one of them, and they will eventually get to it. But if it's something that you need, done immediately, go to a Commonwealth's attorney. They're a great asset to work with. Go to and just ask them, can you please look over this for me? Because they're very knowledgeable in all aspects of the law. If I'm gonna pull up my website,
Oh,
and no, that's okay.
turn it on real quick.
I'm gonna pull it up and just show you where to go to on it. I think that'll be an easy. When you first pull it up, you'll see our main page, and underneath where it says Attorney General Mark Herring, you'll see different little subgroups: home, our office. One thing that you can go to is Citizen Resources, and underneath it, you'll have our consumer protection part, and it can tell you how. Sorry. It can tell you how to file a complaint, where to file, you can look under it for businesses and individuals, and if you're having problems business to business, or if you're having problems with a consumer against a business. Sweepstakes and lotteries and checks, that's a biggie, that's going around now, especially for elderly population. They'll get phone calls and say, you've won $10,000, but to receive your $10,000, we need a check for $1,000 in the mail for taxes. And they'll send this $1,000 in the mail, and we get a lot of complaints with that. Charities that really aren't charities, you can check into them with us. Utilities, and most of that is the antitrust and the price gouging. Landlord timeshare type issues. We have tons and tons of referrals about timeshares. And matter of fact, a couple weeks ago, I had someone come in my office turning in a complaint against a landlord, and my office sent it on. I sent everything to them, and they looked it over, and it was something that needed to go to the housing development board, so they took care of that and sent it to them. So anytime you need anything, you can come to me, and I can at least get it to where it needs to go. Insurance companies and banks. There's the big spa club, health club type things. Price gouging, and then you can go to the consumer complaint. Sorry, when I don't have my mouse, it's hard to maneuver. There it goes again. To the database, and then you can enter a company name, and you can see if there have been any complaints on that company in the past. You can compare to see if it's the same complaint that you have against that company, because 9 times out of 10, if you have a complaint, someone else has had the same complaint. So you can search. It goes back, I think, to 2012 for the complaints.
And if I'm a business and someone has filed a complaint,
Mhm.
then your office contacts me
Mhm.
and starts the investigation.
Yes.
or-
Mm-hmm. There's 3 different parts. There's an intake where the consumer will call and give information about what has happened to them, and then there's the investigation part, to where our office will actually check into it, call the business, say what really happened, compare sides of a story, and if our office feels like it needs to go on, then they go ahead and send it on to be investigated.
So for a small business, the better I keep my files and keep records.
Yes,
And not
definitely.
on pencil, but to keep some kind of a record.
Records. Yes, definitely. Let's see. Let me go back. While we're on the website, I'll show you some more things that we have to offer. These are all of our different programs that we have, that if your business would like to have someone come out and talk to them about any of these things, like identity theft, Medicaid fraud, TRAD, which is senior citizens, gang violence, which we don't have a lot down here, human trafficking, human rights, computer crimes. We have a huge computer crime section in our office that can help anyone that has, if you're an internet company, that may be a great resource for you.
What's the top 3 or 4 business types that you seem to have the most consumer complaints against?
The lemon law with cars, that's a huge one. Cable companies, and let me think. The lemon law is by far the largest one. I don't know what that third one would be. There's a bunch, but general contractors that will come and scam people, or driveway pavers that come and say they've got a great deal for you, that they have all this the asphalt stuff from another job, and then they'll paint it on your driveway and it'll look great, and then it'll rain, and a couple days later it's back to the old gray that you used to have. And there's, if people can give you a business card, anybody can have a business card printed out, but that doesn't make you legitimate. So you have to be your own. You have to be your own police, police department, and make sure that whoever you get to come to your house to work is legitimate. There are ways to find out. You can go to the Better Business Bureau. You can pull up the Better Business Bureau and type in that person's name. Make sure that they have a contract license.
Yeah, and then in Virginia, if you're going to hire a contractor, I always tell people go to the Department of Professional Occupation License, because if they're a
Yes.
contractor, anything like that, they have to have a contractor's license.
Yes, in the state of Virginia.
Complain against them. Or if their license is up to date.
Yes, any complaint they've ever had against them is listed on there as well. The same goes for physicians and any kind of occupation. You can pull that person up and see if there's anything negative on their file. If you go to community outreach, I'm listed under Mountain Empire, and I always tell them in Richmond, I have no idea why y'all call me Mountain Empire, because I'm Southwest Virginia, but that's what I'm considered on on our website, because they consider the Southwest Virginia Roanoke. You know how that goes, Roanoke. But I'm Mountain Empire. So if you, like I said, if you ever need anything, you are more than welcome to call me, and I'll get you in the right direction.
If I'm a business, what would be the top 3 or 5 things that you would suggest that I do moving forward
On starting.
when I'm dealing with the public? If you're a consultant online, or what, if you're exchanging money in any way, you're dealing with consumers. What is the best advice you could give someone going forward to protect their business?
Definitely know the laws. Definitely know your rights as a business owner. Know the consumer rights. Make yourself familiar with other people that do the same job that you do. See how they run their business. And make sure that your employees are well aware of all of these issues as well. If you have employees that work under you, they need to know, even though they're not the boss per se, if they're working and you're not there, they need to know what they should do if a problem arises. this has helped a little bit. It's consumer protection is hard to grasp because there's so many details to it. The Federal Trade Commission, as I said, they have a great website. Just look up stuff, do your homework, Google stuff, call people, talk to attorneys. They'll guide you and help you.
But what's the typical time frame to get a complaint resolved?
Resolved, it could be a month, could be 6 months, depending on the nature of it. Especially if it involves more than one person, it's gonna be a bigger investigation. A lot of times it can be handled over the phone real quick. They get a phone call and say, this is the Attorney General's office and we've had a complaint. Most of the time it's handled before it goes to court or before any other damages can happen.
Is there any way to know what banks are allowed to ask for in loan documents?
I'm not sure about that.
Small businesses apparently banks are beginning to talk to small businesses again. There for a while it seemed that they didn't even
Right.
do business with small business.
Mhm.
But if you study the documents that they don't want you to look at, I guarantee you that. It's just page after page after page, and it's very depressing. And it's stuff that precludes bad guys from doing
Mhm.
bad things to
Mhm.
banks, yes. But I would just like to know if there's a website in Virginia that
I don't know. I will look that up for you. And if you have a card or can give me your phone number, I will look it up and I will ask around for you because I would like to know that myself. I'll get your phone number before or your email address.
Anyone have any other questions?
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Well, Amy, thanks so much for coming.
Thanks for inviting me.
Just wanted to give a plug out for the next upcoming sessions on May the 11th, next Tuesday. I am going to be presenting a workshop on selling to the Commonwealth, and I'll be joined by the Procurement Technical Assistance Center out of Southwest Virginia Community College talking about federal contracting opportunities. So if you're a business always struggling for new markets of opportunity, I know in Virginia we're purchasing about $7 billion annually in goods and services alone, and that's a good market for any business to tap into. And then on May the 18th, the session will be on creative collaborations, and this is sometimes a business owner can do a whole lot by partnering with another organization or another business that's doing something similar, or you're doing similar products that you can do some collaboration. So that will be led by two local entrepreneurs that can share some insight. And we're starting to schedule our new sessions coming up in June. The next session in June will be on June the 22nd, and that'll be Excel in 1 hour. It's a kind of a primer to using Excel, and then we'll follow that up in a month or so on a more intermediate. And Michaela with the Virginia Highlands Community College Workforce Development will be doing this. So we've got a lot of great ideas and topics coming up. So I appreciate you coming out today and participating. So we'll respond to your needs. So if there's anything that we haven't done, please mark it on the evaluation, and we'll be sure to